Hey y'all, I'm Chef Kelly English here with Ash Ember today. We're gonna cook a little bit on this 25-watt rotisserie grill. Let's start some prep. These are both just a little bit over 5 pounds. Now, quick tip, if you are cooking chickens or turkeys or any kind of bird at 350 degrees, you always cook it 18 to 20 minutes per pound. So really easy math to get these done. 5+ pound birds, we're gonna cook these for about 2 hours. Spinning around on top of some charcoal and a little bit of hickory. Now look, you don't wanna put too much wood in there because you're not trying to make fire, you're trying to make flavor, right? First things first, I've got salt and pepper. You can put whatever you want on it. I'm gonna show you kind of the basics of what I like to do. One thing that people do in restaurants that you don't do at home as well, no offense, is you don't season things as aggressively. So I'm gonna put a pan down right here and I'm gonna put a chicken on top of it, all right? I'm gonna season it aggressively. There's other words I might use, but I'm just gonna use aggressively right now. And we're gonna go real high. This is called coverage. So when you put your hands real high, you make sure that salt and pepper gets all over what you're cooking instead of just right where your fingers let go. So we are going to season every little piece of this because my plan is to eat every little piece of this, okay? I love these rotisserie grills because they really get an even cook. A lot of times when you roast things in an oven, you cook the top, but the bottom just doesn't get there, right? And this makes sure that you get lots of flavor. Not only does it use the outside flavor, but you really get some of that inside goodness that you would have. The bones kind of get their flavor into the meat. So I've got a lot of salt on there. You always want to put your salt on first because salt brings moisture out, which lets you put things like pepper on. If you put pepper on first, it does not do that. It locks things in. When you try to put the salt on top, it just falls off. So always salt first. We're gonna put some nice little bit of black pepper on here. And like I said, you could use anything you want. You could use any dried herbs you want. You could use any kind of barbecue rub that you make or you buy. You could get fancy, you could get normal. Whatever you do is gonna get delicious. Last thing I do is I always put a little bit cracked black pepper on the inside of my bird. We've got our chickens seasoned up and we've got this awesome spit right here that we are going to get these guys on. So I'm gonna take this off, it's gonna come back on. And we wanna position our meat in the very center of our spit, right? We can play around with where the fire is, depending on how low and slow you want to cook something. So I said 350 degrees, 18 to 20 minutes per pound at 350 degrees. But there's a lot of different ways you can do it. If you were smoking something on like a Kamado, you might have it a little bit lower. And if you were grilling something on, say, a Santa Maria, you could do it a little bit more aggressively. But right now, we're going to rotisserize these guys. So I'm going to put that in there. Perfect. And then these exist not necessarily to pierce your bird, but to hold it in place, okay? So I am gonna get the wings kind of behind here, and I'm gonna get the legs and thighs on the other side of it, all right? The less you put anything through your animal, the better. Now, if this was a large animal, we were doing a goat, or a pig, you're probably going to need to put this through. But it's a little bit different size than this guy right here. So we're going to get our other one on. I'm just going to stick this one right through again. They're going to go butt to butt, back to back. Then these guys right here, you may wonder what they are for. We're going to lock the feet into the second bird here, which is going to hold it in place. Now it's got some wing nuts on it that you can tighten up. Make sure that They are good to go. Remember righty, tighty, lefty, loosey, which I just forgot. I have everything fastened and ready to go. There is one more piece of this, and it's this guy right here. It goes on top. This is really if you're using a larger animal that might have a neck that you want to fasten to it. Now, earlier I said you don't want to pierce your smaller birds. Part of the reason is that you want to do this thing called resting, okay? So resting is after an animal is cooked, or a piece of meat or a steak, they say you want to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes so the juices kind of get back out. Think about it this way. If you have high heat on something from the outside, which is how we cook things from the outside, it pushes everything to the middle, right? And as you let it relax, all those juices come back out throughout. If you were to put these steaks through the skin or through the meat of the animal, immediately when you took this off, you would violate the idea of it resting. So if this was a pig, I wouldn't be too worried about it. It's a huge animal that has a lot of places to rest. But for a chicken, no pierce. We've got our rotisserie here at 350 degrees. I'm going to go get our chickens to put it on. Spit, rotisserie, let's go. So I'm going to put this through. I've already put our adjustable levels at medium. It seems to work best. Now I've got this on. This is all you do. I'm going to hit that on to make it start spinning. Close that bad boy up. And go watch every football game you want to see. We are right at halfway through this rotisserie process. Notice that the temperature has dropped just a little bit. No big deal. It's normal. I'm going to open it up. This gives me a chance to look at my birds. They look good. But I'm going to add just a little bit more charcoal to it. We don't want a big fire out of this. And once we close the door, that's going to go down a whole lot. But if you do decide to use wood in this, which we've used a little bit, you don't want a bonfire. You want this to be slow and low. So we're going to close that up, let that keep turning, and we'll be back in about another hour. Our chickens have been on in this rotisserie for about 2 hours. They were 5 pounds, so that's just perfect. We're going to see what they are looking like. Yeah. So when you're dealing with this rotisserie, one of the things that you want to do is make sure there is a little divot that comes up out of this rotisserie. You want to stop it to where it's facing straight up. It's the easiest way to get your chickens off of the rotisserie. We've got our chickens straight out of the rotisserie. I'm super excited about this. Show you how easy it is to take apart what it is that's put together. So we're just going to unscrew this a little bit. We don't really need to check our wing nuts because these were just kind of resting in there. But at this point, we can just slide this off. Yes, you're going to need to clean it, but that's fine too. Put that right there. And as easy as you think it could be, this is just going to slide right out of the cavity of our chicken right there. That, and we got one more. Remember, we did not pierce the meat or the skin on this chicken. So we should just be able to come right out of it. And we want to let this rest just like anything else for a few minutes. I'm going to leave this right here for now. And you can see on this chicken, just like a rotisserie that you would buy at the store, it is falling apart. It is ready to go. Now, the one difference between this chicken and one you got at the store, I want you to really ask yourself, do you think they're using the best chickens they have to put in the rotisserie? I don't think they are. Just like I don't think they're covering the best strawberries with chocolate. But that's a whole different conversation. I'm going to take my chicken right here. I'm going to find the middle of the breastbone, and I am going to cut right down the center. Come straight down the side here. I'm going to turn it around, come straight down the side here. Juicy. I can smell how smoky it is from that wood that we put in there along with the charcoal. I'm going to cut right through the wing, just like that. And we've got our white meat taken off. Super easy. We've got some white meat here, some dark meat here. Let's cut up this white meat, see where we're at. We've got juicy, delicious, tender breast that nothing you can buy at the grocery store already cooked can shake a stick at. Plus, I got to pick out my own chicken. I got to use my own products, and you can't beat this. It has nothing to do with me. This was salt, pepper, and that rotisserie grill. Lights out. Lights out.